Director Igor Solovyov will show our correspondent's report. The city is very calm, although you do see people with firearms in their hands on the street. The situation in the city is under the full control of the Special Forces units and the National Guard. In terms of the attack of independent, unidentified forces on the military bases to seize weapons, the Republican prosecutor has started a criminal procedure. This was obviously a very experienced group of people who, in my opinion and my colleagues' opinion, undertook this action in order to destabilize the situation in the Republic. At the same time, a group of soldiers deserted and arrived at a military base asking to be redeployed to a different area. General Dudayev has ordered the National Guard units to work on alert status today. The store shelves are absolutely empty. There are long lines for bread. There is no food in the Republic. President Dudayev believes that there are still peaceful means to resolve the conflict and that there is a possibility for peaceful cooperation between Russia and Chechnya. We continue the news. A sensational piece of news from the French newspaper Figaro. It said that the delay in the return from the Mir space station of cosmonauts Volkov and Krikhalov is because of the lack of funds in Russia. Our reporter, Pyotr Orlov, is at the Mission Control Center. This decision was made in Alma-Ata 2 days ago at a meeting of all the leaders of the Mission Control area. They are attempting to find ways of continuing the space program, including the return to Earth of Alexander Volkov and Sergei Krikhalov. A landing costs 1.5 million rubles, and the search team also has to pay for their pay the local Kazakh facilities. There is enough money for now, but the searching teams will soon have to pay for the local airfield in Kazakhstan and also for damage to the grassland in this boundless steppe. For 9 hours a day now, the cosmonauts have no contact with the Earth because of attempts to save money. Space is becoming very expensive to the detriment of mission safety. This high-quality system was created during the Soviet era, but will probably never be returned to its previous condition. All services now have to be paid in hard currency. A new actor has appeared on the scene, which is the Republic of Kazakhstan, the owner of the land where cosmonauts launch and land. Kazakhstan has its own political, commercial, and scientific interests in the space program, and Kazakhstan will become an official member of the committee which governs space flights. There will be a meeting on May 10th of this council in Alma-Ata. At this meeting, they will create new structures for the space program, but the next 2 launches, planned for March and July, will take place. They are already paid for by the Germans and the French. These pictures were taken this morning in Algiers. A conflict began in the afternoon here when army units who were heading for one of the city's mosques came under gunfire. Islamic Salvation Front soldiers had barricaded themselves in the mosque, and under the slogan Black Friday, they planned to conduct a protest march today, which was prohibited by authorities in accordance with the state of emergency. At several Algerian universities, students held protests demanding the creation in Algeria of an Islamic state and the conduction of the cancelled parliamentary elections. The Iraqi nuclear program is peaceful in intent, according to the experts of the International Atomic Energy Commission. They denied reports that Saddam Hussein is developing nuclear program for military reasons. The Tanjug news agency says that Croatia has demanded that UN peacekeeping forces be from only European community members and Scandinavian countries. The news agency said the UN condemned this as unacceptable racism. Romania and Belarus established diplomatic relations today as their foreign ministers, Andrian Nastase and Pyotr Kravchenko, signed treaties in Bucharest. The police in Peru are on alert status. The Maoist organization is holding an armed strike today. The terrorists prevented the residents of Lima from coming out on the streets or engaging in the trade. In order to emphasize their demands, the extremists set off bombs in supermarkets, a movie theater, and a bank. This Maoist organization has been fighting an armed struggle against the Peruvian government for 10 years. South African President de Klerk assured the white residents of his country today that he is in full control of the process of transition from apartheid to democracy, and he has no plan to give power to the black majority, but only to share it with them. A bus crashed in one of the highways in Guatemala today. 19 people were killed and 30 wounded. In Berlin, the 42nd movie festival Berlin 92 has opened today. The first film shown was the Konchalovsky film Inner Circle, which is a joint Russian and Italian film about Stalin's personal projectionist. More international news. Today in Romania, local elections are being held. From the early morning, there were long lines at the polling places. This is because the voters take a long time in the ballot booth as they get lost among the 140 parties which are on the ballot. The parties are as similar as so many drops of water. But for many political parties, these elections are their last chance. If they lose, they will have to leave the political scene. One of the main contenders for victory is the governing National Salvation Front, although it arrived at the elections divided. The main reason for this is disagreements between Prime Minister Piotr Roman and President Ion Iliescu. For the first time in the 2 years since the revolution, the opposition managed to unite. On November 5th, the main opposition parties united into a convention for democracy to present a united front for the elections. If this convention can be victorious, then this will mean a big change in the course of events, because we remember the tradition of the Balkans. Local governments determine how people feel about the central government, and parliamentary and presidential elections are ahead. So we can say that today there is a battle for the future of the country. A report from London can be called sensational today. Artyom Tarasov has come out of the underground and taken his place in Russian business. On Berkeley Square and the small streets which surround it, there are many exhibition halls, small art galleries, and offices of prestigious firms. Not long ago, one more firm added its name to the list, Alisa in Europe. Although its office is now only being set up, the company has already declared its presence in London. Among its first visitors, we saw many representatives of famous firms and companies, not just of England, but of other countries as well. So Alisa is becoming settled in London. We believe we're right on target with this office because of the recession, all of Western business, because of the fall in production, Western business is very interested in the Russian market, but everyone is afraid of it. No one knows what to do. So when here we have the first English company, which is actually has 100% capital owned by Russians, everyone comes here because they want to really understand how to get into our market. Of course, our main mission is delivering food to Russia. We're sending trains and ships with food to Russia. So these are our specific activities now, and we'll be very happy to take advantage of the opportunity to invite large enterprises and large regions in our country to use the services of this alternative trade representation in London. A little bit of statistics, which are not happy. Today there are over 1 million illegal firearms in Russia. We hear gunshots and see blood flowing more and more often. On February 14th at 3 a.m. there was an attack on a militia car. This is a quiet street around Lenin Prospect. We see footprints in the snow. From here, the criminals attacked a police car. It was a violent and brutal attack. Militia Captain Viktor Gruboy died at the scene, and Senior Lieutenant Igor Ovsyannikov was critically wounded and taken to the hospital. The policemen of the 110th Precinct arrived here and arrested 2 criminals. One other one escaped. The investigation has revealed that they arrived here on this militia van, which was stolen last year and has been missing ever since. The criminals had knives and firearms, an entire set of burglary instruments, and even wigs. We can only guess at the reason for their attack. Viktor Ovsyannikov revealed a large burglary ring recently. The statistics show that last year criminals killed 300 policemen, and in the new year the attacks on police are not being reduced. We cannot say the names of the